Aquatic edges play an all-important role in attracting fish. Most anglers focus their efforts along a timberline, a weed edge, a current break, or a drop-off. All these are places where fish can hunt prey and easily retreat to safety. Structure, they call it. Interestingly, few anglers consider that one of the most expansive edges that exist in any body of water is the surface itself. This top water zone is a distinct barrier utilized by many predatory species to corral and trap bait fish when feeding.
Ooh, there's a whopper. Look at that boy. Oh. Oh. Wow, there's a big one. Ooh, look at that beautiful fish. Look at that. Early in the morning. Okay, there we go. Look at that beautiful bass. Look at the size of the first guy in the morning. What a beautiful bass. Look at that. He just smoked that skitter prop. Ooh, that guy's really got it down there. Get the pliers out. Look at that, it really got him hooked. Oh, look at that. We'll get this boy back in the water. Okay, there we go. That big mouth. They like eating topwater mates, that's for sure.
I can tell you one thing, Rapala does a lot of homework on a lure prior to releasing it to the angling public. The skitter prop's balsa body has a wounded dive and roll action that can really trigger some explosive strikes. The blade has a twofold effect on the lure. One, it creates a large bubble train as the bait is pulled forward in the water. Two, it also slows the rise of the lure and puts out flash and vibration, which I believe can call fish out of deeper water or even heavy cover situations. The short shank, wide gap hooks ensure solid hookups every time. I tell you one thing, this is a great topwater lure.
Really, there's a number of different retrieves that you could do with the skitter prop. Right now, I'm making a lot of rips close together, then letting the bait sit. Aggressive rips, letting the bait sit. I'm trying to call these fish out of 10 foot of water. Right now, these fish are positioned maybe 10, 15 foot down, close to a deep weed edge. You actually suspend it out past the deepest edge of the weeds. But what you're trying to do is to literally call that fish up, and depending on their activity level, how long you have to let that bait sit. And you have to experiment throughout the course of a day. Early in the morning, the fish might be really aggressive, and I can almost keep that bait moving in very, very short stops, and the fish will hit the bait. At other times, as the sun gets higher, I may have to let that bait sit for a longer period of time to be able to call that fish up out of deeper water. There's one. Oh, good one. Look at that guy. Whoa. That's a better sized one. There we go. I'll tell you one thing. These guys are really liking this propper today. You know, right now I happen to be fishing over weeds, but there's a wide variety of different habitats where a skitter prop like this is very, very effective.
Prop baits can be fished over or around a wide range of surface and submerged objects. In the shallows, watch for isolated trees, lily pads, or man-made structures like docks or wood pilings. Moving deeper, look for expansive flats of rock, weed, or wood. Topwater lures are great baits to quickly comb expansive areas looking for active biters. Skitter props really shine when fish are suspended and preying on open water forage. They're also highly effective in rivers and are the best topwater bait to cast in choppy wind conditions.
Ooh, there you go. Woohoo! Look at that. Ooh, he's a leaper. Whoo. Come on. Ooh, look at the size of that guy. Really had a good attitude about him. Come here, buddy. Oop, get the trusty pliers out. One thing that's important when you're topwater fishing for just about any fish species is the rod you fish. We'll get this guy back in the water. Come here. Beautiful greenie. You can see the old lime-colored skitter prop is getting a little bit of a workout today. He's got a real nice sandpapered back. One important aspect of topwater fishing is the tackle you use. Realistically, a bait casting rod is the way to go, spooled with a 17 to 20 pound test line. This is happens to be Rapala Tough Line. I'm fishing with the Signature Series rod, medium action, 6.5 foot in length. It just fishes the bait very efficiently. If you hook a big fish in heavy cover, you have enough torque to really give you a little bit of leverage with that bait casting reel and line, heavier line, to be able to pull the fish out of cover. It's just a good combination to fish a topwater lure. Ooh, there's a good one. He was sort of a slurper. Boy, these boys are on it, aren't they? Come here, buddy. Right now, we got about as perfect conditions for fishing topwater as you could imagine. A little bit of cloud cover. It's about 80 degrees out. It's been real stable for the last number of days. The water temperature is about as high as it'll get throughout the course of the entire season. Beautiful bass. Okay, get her back in the water. Come on. There we go. You know, some of you might ask, does color make a difference when you're topwater fishing? Realistically, I've seen times when it seems like it made all the difference in the world. At other times, it didn't seem so much the color to make the difference, but the presentation of the bait being on the surface and the prop spinning. The fish are really tuned in to feeding on the surface like they are right now during midsummer. So the thing is, I guess you can experiment. I think a big thing about color is confidence based on success. So I carry a wide variety of different colors. You can see right here, this is actually the bottom, and what this is suspended bait fish and bass. I'm actually trying to call these fish out of 10, 12 foot of water to come to the surface. That's why with that skitter prop, you got to make a lot of noise, let the bait sit there for a while to literally call those fish up out of that depth. A lot of people would have the tendency to be fishing jigs or subsurface baits. They're literally fishing below the real active fish. There they are, right there.
Most anglers realize that topwater fishing is a superb shallow water presentation. Right now, I'm trying to call fish that are suspended 8 to 12 foot below the surface. A lot of anglers don't know that you could call a fish to the surface from that depth. In fact, however, it might be the most effective and efficient way to target these fish. You have to realize that these fish, by looking up at the surface, have a very, very large strike window. Beyond this, once they commit to attack a bait from this depth, the more likely they are to savagely smash it.
Throughout the summer months, a lot of times these bluegills and all this bait is suspended way out off these deep weed edges like this. And the people are literally fishing through the fish and not catching them. A lot of times what they prefer is this topwater presentation. I just had one come up on my bait. Oh, look at that one. Did you see him just come up and crunch on it? Look at that. Holy, look at that guy. That fish came out of that fish was actually probably 10 feet down over 18 foot of water, and that's where I called that fish out of. A lot of people think that topwater are primarily a shallow water bait, like a skitter prop, but I can guarantee you one thing. They work in a lot more conditions than a lot of people would give them credit for. I can guarantee you that, and they're phenomenally effective for real big bass. Look at that, beautiful fish.